Hi everyone, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. It's starting to go dark outside already, well it looks it anyway from here. As you know from yesterday, I fitted the master cylinders for the clutch and the front brake, and I've led through all the brakes, and I have a situation I'm going to try and look at for the cylinder for the the clutch reservoir cylinder, because of where the infeed for the fluid for the master cylinders is. It's made it a bit difficult, like using the original cylinders reservoirs. Sorry, my words are mixed up. Let me try and get going again. Right, I'm not rehearsing this, as you can see. It's all off the cuff, so that's why sometimes I can be wrong, sometimes I can stutter, and vice versa. Sometimes I can ramble on. But anyway, I am looking on today. I'm going to got the velocity stacks all cleaned up, ready to go on. So there, I think is going to be the first thing I'm going to put on. Then I'm going to have to go over to my drag bike. I'm going to take the seat off. I'm going to get the rear ABS sensor, which needs to go on this, and there's a seal, I say, that's on back order for one of the caps on this side cap of the airbox, which I'm going to take off through the one. I can't take the whole cap because I have my nitrous system goes through the top of there. I'll do a quick video of what it looks like when I've got it off, put the tank off and that, but I thought because I've got to take the tank off to get the ABS sensor, I might as well get that on. Then I'm looking on doing, then once that's on, I can close up the cover here, as long as I've got my earth from my battery, which is not here at the moment. I'll dig that out. I've got an earth that goes to the battery. The earth of the battery is on the inside, and the live's on the outside. You see there's a live. And obviously that's me live for my electronic gear change as well, going to go on that. But anyway, I'll put the cap on here, then the cover on here, and then I'm going to put everything back on the tank, probably bar the Kawasaki badges, which I think I've got some badges there, but I haven't checked which ones I've got. I need to double check before I reorder anything else, because I've probably double up with stuff, knowing me. Then I can I'm going to put the tank on, and then I'm going to cover it up with on this side here. I'm going to cover it up with my what we call lumber jacket thing, because it's fleece lined on the inside. As long as there's no dirt or scratch or stuff on it on the inside. Actually, I'll cover it up with some packing first, pull that first, then I'll put that on, just in case I do inadvertently drop or a spanner, whatever, screwdriver, whatever, which can be a bit of an issue with trying to balance on one leg. Now, so I'm going to do that, and I might well on that bike there, I've got a thumb brake on that bike there. I've got to take the thumb brake off to send it off to have the seals checked, because there's some been leaking, so it's got to go back up to the manufacturer. But also the reservoir on that is a bit different. I might see if I can use that reservoir on there, and if not, I might be able to adapt something to do it. Also, the bracket on my one there on the clutch side is rusty, that holds the reservoir on. It isn't on this, so I'll swap them over while that is on back order as well. Funny thing that just the bracket's on back order, but it is. I get most of my parts from Kawasaki. You can get it from Fowler's, it's another good place to get them from. Fowler's, I have been told sometimes get them from Cradley as well, but it depends who you can get your best discount with, I suppose. I tend to find that I do wait a little bit longer with Fowler's. With Cradley, if they've got it there, I'll have it probably next day, maybe the day after that. With Fowler's, it seems to be a lot longer. Why that is, it might be because they're getting the particular parts I've ordered, maybe from thingy. But Fowler's do everything, you see. If you're looking for one stop for everything, they'll do. I think they'll do Yamaha, they'll do Kawasaki, they'll do Suzuki, they'll do all manufacturers. But anyway, I may be 100% wrong on that. I may be 50% wrong on that. I may be, slightly wrong on that. But I know you can get other manufacturers. I know you can get Yamaha anyway, because my Yamaha parts comes from Fowler's through my friend, my engine builder, who also gets Kawasaki stuff from them as well. But anyway, I'm going to move on now, get cracking, get these velocity stacks in. I can get the cap on one side in once that's on. I think it's, yeah, which is the one with the sensor on, which is I think an airbox pressure sensor. And then I'll have to get the seat off this, tank off this, and sort the stuff out on that really, sort the parts I need off that to go on there. Sometimes it's handy to have two bikes the same, but sometimes it's not, because you steal from one to the other. It's like the velocity stacks on that originally off this, so the ones that are going on this originally off that. Bit of a story on that is because I tested all various different velocity stacks, from really short ones to none at all and just the rubbers, to mediums, to tall, to, you know. And what we found with the drag bike is that the standards, the rubber standard ones, where there's too tall, too small, yeah, too tall ones, too small ones, gave the mid-range at a lower RPM than the short ones, and the which I'm sure gave the torque at a lower RPM than all the others. So we went with the standard ones because I wanted the torque as quickly as I could get it really on the drag bike, and go from there. Some people argue the fact that it's got plenty of torque anyway, and I'd have no issues, and if I had it slightly a bit further up the rev range, I'd have more pulling power at the top end. Which could be a valid point, but now I'm using nitrous on it, that is a bit immaterial now. So anyway, I'll get off, I'll get back to you shortly.
Right, quick little video of the order these go in. As you see this video from here, the top of the engine is where the rubbers are. The front of the engine, the rubbers are. The back is where the thingies are. Now, this is the way they say to put it in the manual, and there's a good reason for this as well. The tall velocity stacks go in the middle, the short ones on the outside. These go into the frame, then they go in through. But the best way of doing it is, and have these this way. Reason why is if you have that the other way round, especially on this one, if you had that the other way, which is obviously that's the top of the head, when you screw that in, that pushes up against the secondary throttle motor, and it won't sit right for one, and it's quite difficult to get to. So you have them that way. So you have Allen key on one side, Allen key on the other, and you might need quite a long Allen key for that one, or one on a bar, but make sure you don't lose the bit. And always put these on the throttle bodies first before pushing them down, because it's very difficult to get through, get these through, especially the inner one, through between your throttle bodies and your head. So I always put them on first on each one I do first, and I do the inner ones first, obviously. I've got to go now. Mother's turned up, so I've got to go and see Mother first. So what time I'll get back to this, I'm not sure. Alright, speak to you again shortly. Bye. Hi, as you see, the velocity stacks are now in. On each side of the velocity stack, the rubber stack, there's a little rubber grommet bit, and it has to locate on the hole. There's one each side. What I always advise to do is get one in on correctly first, rotate the velocity stack round from the inside of the top of the airbox, reach your hand in, rotate it round, check the other sides in, and then rotate it back, being careful not to dislodge the second one you put in, to check that the first side is correct. Then tighten it up by hand so far, so that they're both correct, in, push the velocity stack as hard down as you can get it, and then tighten them up. As you see, the inner one bolt or Allen key is there. Further down, as you see from inside there, but brighten it up a bit. Yeah, and then the outer one we do at the top. Reason is it's very on the other side. The inner one, if you had it the other way round, would then the other end of the big bolt pushes against the motor that runs your secondary throttle bodies. So you don't want to do that. You can inadvertently twist the throttle body
or damage the motor, maybe break the case and get damp in it, and then that's you know, not good. So anyway, I'm gonna pack this in now. It's running late because obviously my parents came, so I'm in the garage a bit later than what it was what anticipated. I'm gonna get the rear ABS sensor off the other bike and a few other bits. I need to get the tank off to get to the seal for the top of these airbox. Then I can seal the airbox in. Air filter's already been oiled up and put back in, cleaned, oiled. Use K&N cleaning fluid. I do slightly, not everyone advises, depending on what type of filter, but because it's a BMC filter and or a K&N filter, at a distance I tend to blow a bit of the air out the filter. Don't do it close, you can blow some of the material away if you're not careful. And then use some cleaning fluid, clean it, then dry all that off, and then oil it with the K&N oil as well. That's just to collect fine particles of dust. As we have my local garage, which is Hammer & Tongs Performance in Warrington, I'd had a bike in, an R1 in, with only about 1,000 miles on it. Had its first service with Yamaha, and they never checked, cleaned and oiled the filter. He went out and he was along a place called Southport, which is with sandy area up and down the top, and sand had got in through his air filter, which wasn't cleaned at that particular point, and probably one that oiled correctly when it was first put in as well, and it went through the engine and damaged his valves. So he had to have the engine out, head off, work done, valve seats had to be redone, new valves, worked out a costly job, all because of not checking your air filter and oiling your air filter as regularly as you would like. Because of that, I have obviously checked, cleaned, oiled, and I will be checking it probably more regular than what is normally recommended in the manual, especially if you're at sandy areas or very dusty environment areas, and that's what I advise anyway. Right, catch you later. Hi, right, I have now fitted the two covers with the plug in for the air pressure sensor. I got the other side of this with the seal I needed, so I had to get it off the other bike, so I had to take the tank and everything off the other bike. So I've done that now, and I've put the cover over the top, the soundproofing cover. Also gives you a bit of protection from vibration from the pipes. I am now going to go and turn my attention to fitting parts back to the tank. We have the soundproofing and the heat shield. We have the fuel sender, we have the fuel pump, we have the fuel cap, and we have a lot of bungs and that. We have a couple of paddings from here and there and everywhere. I will look through the manual to double check where about they all go on. Well, probably better looking through the parts catalogue. That will show you a bit more what's there and what goes where, pretty much. Obviously I know where the fuel pump goes and a few other bits and bobs, but some of them which I've got in the pack that I ordered from Kawasaki, I'll probably have to have a quick look through. So I'm going to start that now. I'll get myself situated so I can sit myself a bit better. As you can see, I've got it on a nice comfy foam piece of padding to try and protect the tank on the good side of the tank. You have to get to the underside of it, you see. So hopefully once I've got all of this on, I'll get the tank in place. And we'll see from there. Then I can put fuel in, I suppose. I want to get a few more other things on. I'm talking about probably putting the battery on almost last, partly because of the fact that I don't know how the alarm system's going to react after being off charge for a good year or so. It may well be totally knackered and throw a wobbler, and if it does, I'm going to have to try and mute it and disconnect it from the system, which means tracing it back through the loom a little bit. I'm hoping it's not going to be too far back through the loom, otherwise I will be
pulling my hair out. But fingers crossed, and we'll see how things go. So catch you again shortly. Hi, hello again. The first thing I've done is I've fitted the fuel sender. It will go on, and you have to put the little buoy thing in that way, and then wriggle it around and get the wire. You will get it in okay. They have to have thread lock on them. It's red thread lock, which is indicating to me as high strength thread lock. Obviously do not want no leaks or anything backing off from there. Also, they're only torqued up to 6.9 Newton meters according to the manual. I've put the heat shield in, then it clips in either side of there, one either side. As you say, it should unclip out alright, but it clips in either side. I've got a clip there for one part of the wire and another one here. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to put, there's two bungs to go in there, one there and one this side, which will securely hold that heat-proof cover on then. I will try and make that square as I do it, so I'll be like what I'm doing there, pushing it down a little bit into places. Then I will move on to the two grommets that go in here, and there's also a rubber mounted stay that goes in there. You've got two little grommets going either side there, and the other side, that's for when one of your panels actually, I've got a that clips into the bung on that on either side of there. And I'm going to put two of the mounts in there, which are the ones that actually sit on those brackets, which we screwed into the frame either side just in front of the battery compartment cover. So I'm going to do them next, and then I'm going to do the fuel pump after that. Quickly over to the fuel pump. We have one large big O-ring in here. Same again, these bolts need red thread lock, and they are torqued at 9.8 Newton meters. Now with the fuel pump, there's only one way it'll go in. There's a fuel pump, if you've not seen, sorry, I keep forgetting the camera around. You see the fuel pump, that's what a fuel pump looks like. It's called a wet fuel pump, it goes inside the tank, obviously. Most people will be quite surprised, especially car people, it goes inside the tank. But there you go, it goes in. There's only one way it'll go. If you look carefully, the holes won't line up. Well, you can keep rotating it, right? That's not going to line up there. It will line up in this position, which means as you're sort of sitting on the bike, the pipe will be pointing towards the left, your left leg side basically. And basically you just put each one of them in with thread lock, 9.8 Newton meters, job's done, that's it. Hi, as you see, I have put my fuel cap on, but I also have put my Givy, it's a round ring that when you clip your Givy tank bag on, it just clips on into place, and then you've got a quick release lever and it clips back off again. So there's no need for putting any like gubbins on your tank to protect your tank, or have a magnetic tank bag, which can also, the magnets can also contract the metal and then scratch your tank. So that's ideal for that. As I say, the actual condition of this tank is not as to the standard I was expecting, but I had to get the bike back together, so I've pretty much put everything in and then on and another. There's two of these to go in place yet. I'm going to double check beforehand where about we need to put them. I'm almost certain they'll have a side of there just to help when you put your seat down, but I need to double check. I don't want to put them in the wrong place and then find out I've got them in the wrong place. I'm going to have a look on my other tank before I do that, and also there is a bit that goes on here which I haven't ordered as of yet, so I'm going to order that. I've also, inside the tank, cap, there's a breather, and there's like a little rubber O-ring, sorry, yeah, like a little O-ring that is missing. Must have went missing when I stripped everything down. I'm going to order that, and I've got one of these missing, so I'm going to order another one of them. And pretty much that's probably top and bottom of it. As I say, there's a couple of little things that need to be stuck on there. Whether they're still available, I'll find out where to go to order. If they're not available, it'll just stay the way it is. Suppose it's being picky, trying to put them on as well when no one sees it, but it just potentially stops any paint that may get damaged under the tank, and then may, if depending on how well it's been painted, flake away and then peel off the rest of the tank. At some point I think I will end up having this painted again. Unfortunately I have to go through that process of doing it again. The lucky side of things is when I originally had it done, it was as cheap as chips. It was as cheap as you could get anyone to paint anything for you. Unfortunately, the rest of the bike's not been that cheap, so that's why I really want to do it again. There's no point in me spending a fortune out and all the nice carbon and all that, and then your paint work's not up to scratch. Now the biggest problem is if I ever have to get the frame done, but I don't think that will happen. I think if anything, I may well cover the parts of the frame you can see. Might get the swing arm done again. Well, we'll get the swing arm done again. But the parts of the frame you can see, I might be able to see if I can get something to cover it, like a vinyl that I can trim to fit perfectly the full either side of the frame. As we're looking in that direction, see if we can zoom in. We're talking about like those general areas. As I say, I do have a boot guard on it already, so I could get something in the future, take the boot guard off, put full length thing in there, but maybe not. Anyway, I'm going to get off. I've got to go and get the ABS sensor off the other bike, and then I can fit the ABS sensor on, and then I can put this tank into in situ, which is my plan. I may well have a go of polishing the tank up, or see if I can get some buffing on the tank to see if I can get any issues out, because you can see there's still fine scratches in it in places, and there's a bit where they look like they try to buff out a drip on the other side, but they've buffed it out, but they've not re-polished it, lacquered it, and whatever, you know what I mean. So it needs another good going over, and otherwise I will get it painted again, maybe over winter next year if I have the time and the fundage to do it. We'll go from there. Alright then, speak in a bit. Bye. This is the rear ABS sensor from my other bike. There is a bit of damage on it, because obviously with it being a drag bike, we do have to adjust the chain quite a lot. When it was on the previous swing arm, it got knocked on the edge. So the one I have ordered, which is on back order, will go back on my road bike, and this will go back on my drag bike. My drag bike has to be stripped anyway for maintenance and certain work over winter. Obviously I don't think I had to strip this. No, I didn't have to strip this off really, but it's only a 2-minute job once the tank's off. So I will put the new one back on this when it either comes through or after I've got it MOT'd. I'm putting this on first because this will stop the speedometer from working on these Gen 2s. Some people will say, oh no, if you have a thingy sensor at the crank of the inner sprocket, but you don't on a Gen 2. You do on a Gen 1, but a Gen 2 it goes off the rear wheel speed sensor, which is this. So your speed comes off this, which is also your ABS sensor. So I'm going to fit this one to it and clip it all into place, and then I can get the tank on, and we'll go from there. But as I say, the new one will go on this bike at some point when I get it to come through the post. Right, see you in a bit. Ciao. Hi, yeah, well, it's very late now. It's gone 11 o'clock. The tank is actually on, fitted correctly, and I've been assembling some of one of the side panels, but I've been assembling the inside of it as well, because we've got carbon fibre inside as well as carbon fibre outside. It's roughly in place. There's a couple of things I've got to sort out yet. Bolts are in loosely, but I had to. It's a bit silly what they've done here. They've made the carbon fibre insert at the top, yeah, but in theory they've done the shiny bit on the wrong side. If you look at it, yeah, you can see the shiny bit there on that side, but then on the wrong side, because that's the bit that's going to be on show. The other bit is not going to be on show. Not much I can do about that really. They even had a carbon fibre rear bits here, which are for the sleeves to slot your side panels in. That's carbon. This outer's carbon. It's all pure carbon. There's no like fiberglass carbon as some manufacturers have done. That's carbon. The radiator surrounds bit of carbon. Bottom bits carbon. Everything. Very, very light. Very thin. Pretty much quite thin carbon. But not badly made. As I said, there's a few little issues. I had to modify the bottom bit a little bit here, the corner. There was too much meat on it, so when I tried to hook it in and round, it wasn't holding very well. We have one screw in behind there. At this side, as you normally have a funny clip thing, but that funny clip cannot go on. So what I'm going to do, once it's assembled, I'm going to get, because it won't go any higher up than that, I'm going to get a plastic tie, because there's a loop on this panel and there's a loop on that panel. Plastic tie them together so it will not, the wind will not grab it and pull it away. There's no other way of putting your other type bracket on at all. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like on the next video, not on this one. So that's loosely in place. As all Kawasaki's, we've got a bit of a pain in the arse for this particular bit here. It never wants to go in on the inside. So as I say, I've only loosely put it in, and then when I put it in correctly, that will go the other side. What I'm going to have to probably do is lift the front end a bit, so we've got more height, and then I should be able to bring it out almost like almost like what they call a gull wing car style doors. Slot it in the top, and then sort of bring it round rather than trying to slide it in. Or the other option is take the top two bolts out on the wind mirrors, take the wind mirrors off, loosen the nose cone and try and lift the nose cone up a little bit, so we've got a bit more height, a bit of flexibility to get in there. But I will assess that tomorrow, or maybe not tomorrow. I've got other jobs to do tomorrow, but we'll see. I might be able to get a video just done tomorrow. So that's as it is at the moment. I've ordered all the bits I need for the tank that are missing, and I've ordered a bracket for here. As I say, put the rear ABS sensor on, but there's like a bracket that either goes up or goes down. I think I'm not sure. I'll put whichever way I think feel fit. That bolts onto that bolt, and then it holds your pipe, your ABS wire a bit better than what it is at the moment. But that's in. What I will show you here is, you know, these clips on the normal ZZR14 are not small like that. They're quite large, because you've got the original brake pipe is quite wide, obviously, because it's a rubber brake pipe rather than a braided one. So these ones are Kawasaki, but they're from a Ninja H2. So the Ninja H2 has braided brake lines as standard, and it also has to have clip the ABS wire alongside it as well. So I got some. I've put these off my drag bike for now, but I'll order some more of these, and I will put them back on the drag bike. That's why I hold the drag bike one together. That's where originally, when I was playing with my H2, I realised, oh, they will fit. So they, as I say, one will clip around there. Normally where these white pieces of tape are is normally where you'll clip onto and say that clips onto the other, and then you can put it whichever way you want really. There's one more needed for there, and then I will tidy off the rest of that ABS wire. It looks long, even though it is the correct one. I can't bring it round any further around here because that won't be in the right place then, and it doesn't slide up and down the pipe very easy. I can make it slide up and down the pipe, and I might well do that just to take up the excess. It just means a bit of manipulating because they are normally got a bit of glue on them, stop them from moving from one way or another. It's like a rubber glue, a rubber solution type glue. But that's that back together. It's just a matter when I get onto it next. I will be sorting out the other side panel. Oh, that's another thing I haven't ordered yet. I need to get a new screen, but I don't use the genuine screens. I use a double bubble one, which is normally, last time I had a look was Thingy did one for this one on my 14 over here, quite a large double bubble, which is exactly how I like them because I'm a tall bloke. I think this one was, what was that one? I think that was Power Bronze, was that one? Was that Power Bronze? Power Bronze. But on the H2, the best one for the H2, and I've got a clear one on the H2 at the moment because of racing top speed. It is a, oh, let me think of the make of it now. You know what, my mind's gone blank now. Oh, what is it? I can't remember. But anyway, I am going to be extending that screen even further by using an old screen and basically riveting it into the screen that's on the bike to give an even taller screen, a bit like a TT bike. They have a lot of road racing, especially TT bikes, because they have a lot of long top speed areas. They tend to do that, so I will be doing that as well. Okay, that's it for now, and that's it for tonight because it's way too late. It's way too past my bedtime, as the saying goes. Because I'm an old man, a knackered old man, broken knackered old man, whatever you want to call it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.